Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to WHITradio.org. You're listening to the show Tunchi and Friends. I'm your host, Jason Morrell. Today on the show, we got Kevin Pinkay, Andrew Kwok, Ahmed Abdallah, and our special guest speaker, Javier Crespo, in the booth. Today, we got a couple interesting sports topics coming at you. The first one is a bit of a discussion concerning one of the more polarizing athletes coming up in the NFL draft in the next few months, Johnny Manziel. A lot of people are wondering whether or not he'll be a bust. And do you guys think he'll be a bust? Andrew?
I don't think Johnny Manziel should be a bust because he has been a so good college quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, but college is a way different game. I mean, we saw, Tim Tebow and Ryan Leaf are two of the best quarterbacks in college history, and we all see how they work out. Tim Tebow still doesn't have a job, and Ryan Leaf is the guy that people considered drafting over Peyton Manning, and he's just a washed-out journeyman who never even got a chance to start. So, Javier?
Yeah, man, I think he's a bust.
You think he'll be a bust?
Yeah, I don't see Russell Wilson in him, and his college numbers were kind of misleading because he just made big plays, right? So, I don't think he's that good.
Yeah, and Jason,
Skippy.
and there's other quarterbacks that they are also in the draft, like Teddy Bridgewater.
Good point.
I mean, I'm not completely sold on Manziel, like that he'll translate immediately into maybe like a top 5 pick. I still think he's got world-class potential. I would take a gamble on him first round. I think if you can get a coach that can rein him in and tell him to stop just using his legs every 3 seconds to escape, and he can learn to sit in that pocket and make the big plays that he made in college in the NFL, he can turn into probably a really, really great read option quarterback.
I think the Patriots. I think they're a good option.
No.
Even though he won't reach, I still think it's a good choice.
Yeah, and Jason. But do you think? Yeah, but Jason and Javier, do you think the Texans, who has the number 1 pick, should pick Johnny Manziel?
If I was the Texans and I were confident that my head coach could rein him in and teach him how to use be in an NFL pro offense, I would take Manziel. But if not, I think the safer pick would be either Bortles or Teddy Bridgewater. Bridgewater being the safest, but I think he has the lowest ceiling out of all of them.
So, which of the 3 quarterbacks should be the Texans' number 1 pick? Bortles, Bridgewater, or Manziel?
I think it should be either Bortles or Manziel, because Bortles and Manziel both have more potential than Bridgewater, but Bridgewater's a safer selection, I guess.
So, would you consider for the Texans drafting Bridgewater soon will be a good pick, or no?
I still think he's a top-worthy pick, but I think he'll just end up in a role like someone like a Joe Flacco or an Alex Smith, just a guy who just manages games. He doesn't really make that big play that makes you a superstar quarterback.
True.
And what about Clowney, the defensive corner end?
I don't like him. I don't like his work. I don't like his work ethic. I mean, the guy obviously just preserved himself just so he wouldn't get injured, just to make sure he was ready for the draft. Like, the guy's attitude, he just gives me a bad attitude. It seems like it. So I wouldn't take Clowney outside the. I mean, he still got all the potential in the world, but I wouldn't.
Would you say Jadeveon Clowney is a clown?
That's a clown question, Javier.
All right.
So where should Clowney be? Who should draft Clowney?
Falcons.
Why Falcons?
They just need defense. Their defense was just ravaged by injuries last year.
Ravage.
Yeah, it was a ravage. All right, so I think we've all given our opinions on Manziel. Anybody else want to throw in an opinion on Manziel? Kevin, you don't really have anything?
I'm fine.
You don't follow college football, I guess.
Not that much.
All right, so moving on. This this is a real interesting topic. Ads on NBA jerseys should be coming up soon. Well, Adam Silver himself said it. Within 5 years, he said we should expect to see some sort of advertisement on NBA jerseys. He's saying it's pretty much it is a business move. Like, it's all about the money. Personally, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like the way it looks.
And Jason, of course, NBA try to make a lot of money on jersey sales, especially with the sleeve jerseys.
Yeah.
And the ad jerseys. They want to make money for this. And sometimes players don't like it when they have sleeve jerseys. That's the problem. Why the players don't want to wear sleeve jerseys, but they were forced to wear it, and NBA wanted to sell it to the fans.
Yeah, it's just a business move. I mean, because the sleeve jerseys sold better than the sleeveless jerseys. I mean, just people. I guess it just looks like a T-shirt or something.
Yeah, but sleeve jerseys, like the one I have, is very popular for the players because it's an old-time tradition. Yeah, and sleeve jerseys. I know NBA is trying to test an experiment on sleeve jerseys.
I think they did it for the advertisement. They get more space. They could throw it in there. Ahmed, you got something to say about this?
Yeah, personally, I don't like it, but I think it's going to happen because I don't think anyone would turn down the amount of money they can potentially make with ads on jerseys.
Yeah, I think Adam Silver said it's somewhere north of like $100 million a year.
Yeah.
They're just starting out. So imagine like down the line, I guess, when they just start plastering them everywhere, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
I remember he said he used soccer as an example. Soccer jerseys, pretty much every soccer jersey besides like the national teams have advertisements all over them, and fans still buy them. Yeah. So he pointed to the fact that soccer is becoming more popular in the United States, as maybe that can help soften the blow. Like, we'll get more used to seeing it, I guess. Kevin, what do you think of the ads?
It ruins the tradition because back in the day, it was just, your little shorts, all the way down, sleeveless, jerseys. It was the tradition, and now.
I'm not a fan, and I think I'd rather have I'd actually rather have ads than sleeve jerseys. I think those are horrendous.
Yeah.
That's just me, though.
I wouldn't care if any players wear jerseys have advertisements on their jersey because it's still a sleeveless jersey anyways. But sleeve jerseys, I don't like it. It's even worse.
I agree.
Yeah, so I guess while we're still on the topic of the NBA, let's move on to to yesterday's marquee matchup. We had it's on ESPN, so I guess it is a marquee matchup. We had the Knicks take on the Pacers. We had the Knicks riding into the game with a
7-game winning streak.
I mean, they came out with a 7-game winning streak, but the Pacers have just been struggling so much. They still got the best record in the East, mainly because Miami's just struggling at the exact same time and getting hot. When the Pacers got hot, Miami got hot. So, I mean, they've still just been neck and neck. Yesterday also marked the first game of the Phil Jackson era. What do you got? All right, so I guess we can say goodbye to an early exit to our host, Javier.
Yeah.
Not our host, our
guest
we'll
appreciate
speaker,
Javier for coming to our show.
I appreciate that, Skippy.
Yeah, thank you for
I just want to give a quick shout out to Miss Oliver's homeroom. I go to you guys every morning, and I need you guys to get through my days. So,
all right,
have a good show, guys.
Okay.
Thanks,
Javier.
Thank
you. I appreciate it. Thank you for the time.
Have a have a nice day, Javi.
Thanks, Skippy. Thank you.
All right, so
the Knicks and Pacers.
Yeah, and I saw Melo scored 34 points.
Yeah, he had a big game, and he made Paul George look like nothing. He actually played tight defense that game, and Paul George shot terrible that game. He couldn't find anything to go in the basket.
I mean, I saw at one point Paul George had more fouls than shots made.
Yeah.
I mean, Paul George has been struggling. The whole Pacers team has been struggling lately.
Yeah, but what's their problem? Like, I don't see how you can go for like such a good record in the beginning of the season to having like plummeted in skill level.
I think their offense is finally catching up to them. They're not their offense has always been kind of putrid, but they always just fell back on their brick wall defense. But now that their defense is struggling, their offense can't make up for it. And when you play teams that can score in bunches, you need a good offense to keep up with them, because there are teams like Miami, there are teams like OKC, the Spurs, that they'll pretty much negate your great defense.
Yeah.
So you need an offense that can win you in a shoot, that can beat you. I mean, that can beat the opponent in a shootout.
Yeah.
And Indiana doesn't have that.
They used to, but Paul George has been playing terrible. And if they possibly match up with Miami in the Eastern Conference Finals, then if they continue playing like this, they can't beat Miami, especially with their offensive
Miami's struggling right now, but I think we can all point to why it's an easy solution. I mean,
and
Dwayne Wade's back, and that's a major readjustment. Like, he's finally playing like Dwayne Wade. So
and in addition, the Pacers and Heat already clinched the playoff spot. It doesn't even matter now.
Yeah, it's pretty much inevitable, barring some unforeseen upset. I mean, I can picture Chicago upsetting someone in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That'd be a tough matchup. They can upset pretty much anyone. They're a team built to upset. Brooklyn, the way they've been playing, they can upset people. Yeah,
Brooklyn has the potential to upset people too. I think Brooklyn and Chicago are.
Yeah, barring a Brooklyn-Chicago upset, I don't. We'll pretty much guaranteed in Eastern Conference Finals between the Pacers and the Knicks, but like, I don't know if they get there, like, are both teams just the way they're playing, it doesn't look like it would be exactly a riveting series like we had last year.
Yeah, and of course, now the Knicks are heading into the 7-game win streak. I guess the next games are gonna be easy, but what are the hard challenges with an upcoming Knicks schedule?
Well, don't forget, even if they win a couple more games, they're still 4 games behind Atlanta for the 8th seed.
Yeah.
So.
What is the latest on the Hawks now?
The Hawks,
haven't they been riding a little winning streak?
They're on a 5-winning streak, actually. So
yeah, they just beat Toronto the other day. I saw like the end of that game. That was a pretty good game, actually.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about Toronto, though?
I never expect the Raptors to be in the playoffs.
I mean, when like everything started off with the East so bad, they pretty much had a wide open shot at the Atlantic Division title. But now it's actually a pretty close battle between them and Brooklyn. Yeah. Because Brooklyn's getting healthy. I mean, they're still missing their best player, Brook Lopez.
Yeah. So do you think the Nets will take the Atlantic Division?
I think the Raptors still have enough to hold them off.
The only Canadian team.
Yeah, I mean, like the Raptors, they're really nice. They're young. I mean, Kyle Lowry's probably gonna leave after the season.
Yeah, he could.
So, and here we have Javier again, and he just leaves. Bye, Javi.
We have a caller, Jason.
Am I in the air?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello, what's your name?
You know who you guys are? This is Cleo from Fairview.
Hello, Cleo.
How's it going?
Yeah, do you have a question for us?
What you guys aren't talking about, all right, is, and it's a different league now, it's the three-point line, ruined the NBA, all right, is have you guys ever seen Dave Bing play the game of basketball?
Nah.
Now, back in the day, I knew Dave Bing personally, okay? He's a Hall of Fame center. Now, back in the day, what you got to realize is that the ball was hand-sewn together, all right?
Yeah.
And what this means is, it's not like now these balls are hermetically sealed in a factory somewhere. You bounce the ball now, it gives you a true bounce, a true dribble. You got to realize these guys are playing, each ball is made individually, hand-sewn together, Lower East Side, et cetera, et cetera. These guys are trying to bounce the balls up the court, all right? A lot of these balls were oblong, all right? A lot of these balls weren't even, it was like trying to play with a rugby ball. So back in the day, if you scored 4 points a game, I mean, you're having a big game. Dave Bing averaged 11 points one year. That was like scoring 35, 40 a game.
Okay. I mean, is there something where
not only that, but you got to realize that these guys are traveling. on airplanes, first class, hotels, 500 thread count sheets. They're living the life of Riley. They got headbands, shooting sleeves, face masks, mascots, cheerleaders, halftime shows. Back in the day, you'd have the Fort Wayne Pistons would travel to Chicago. A lot of times they walk. So you're walking from Fort Wayne, Indiana, to Chicago. Now they want you to go and play a game. A lot of times they didn't have a hardwood court. You play on a dirt floor or grass. So the NBA nowadays, I don't know. It's a very soft league. I'd like your opinion on that.
I mean, I think it just comes with the times.
Because if you think about
we will see
old time people, right? Growing up on a farm, you know what I mean? Is John Placino still working at this station or no?
Yeah, he's our teacher.
Really?
Yeah,
He used to do play-by-play. There used to be a lot of minor league sort of basketball things, and they used to be the Bergen Field Berserkers. Okay? And you want to see people, now you can't, you put your hand on a guy, they call a foul. These guys used to take you down, trying to go for a layup. They'd take you out, and then they'd go to your house, and they'd assault your parents. That's how tough this team was.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah. I know the NBA.
I like
isn't
you,
what it
but
used
I
to
want
be.
to hear your guys' opinion on it, please.
I think it just comes with the times.
Because when you
we'll
think
progress. Okay, thank you, caller. Thank you for the interesting viewpoint. I mean, it just comes with the with the times. People will just progress. I mean, we'll move on. I mean, yeah, you can say the NBA is softer now. I've seen the film of the bad boy Pistons and back then, but
Yeah, in the 2004 brawl.
yeah, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I mean Malice at the Palace, but I mean, I think there's a certain level. I think some people are too enamored by the old physical style of play. Like you gotta expect that the game will evolve. I mean, think about it. I mean, and it evolves quickly. I mean, think about it. Just as 40 years ago there wasn't a 3-point line.
Yeah.
That was a pretty new invention.
I mean, to tell you the truth, I think not only basketball, but most sports have softened up. Basketball, football,
but what
soccer.
I don't get is that
Yeah.
they soften up, and yet it still seems like there's still just as many injuries nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, like
It takes
the
away
NFL,
a lot from the game.
The NFL with all these new safety rules, they had more injuries this season than in any other season before. Like this season set a record. I mean, maybe it's just the precautions. Like we can diagnose more injuries now, but I mean, yeah, I think that just comes with the times. I don't think there's anything you can do about that. No?
Yeah. Injuries are just unfortunate, and you can't prevent them even with any amount of rules you put in.
Yeah, I mean, these are world-class athletes, big guys. I mean, the average NBA player is 6'7", north of 200 pounds. That's a big guy running around, so that just leads to a lot of lifelong problems. I guess that's it. That wraps up the show. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Special thanks to the caller. Special thanks to our guest Javier. Departed a bit earlier. Once again, you are listening to Tunchi and Friends from WHITradio.org. Once again, I'm your host, Jason Moreau. Today on the show, we had Kevin Pinkay, Andrew Kwok, Ahmed Awadallah, and Katie and Alessandra as our producers working the boards. All right, Tunchi and Friends signing off. Yeah.